Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we'll be discussing whether or not magic in the wizarding world of Harry Potter is becoming weaker with each passing decade. At the mere age of 11, when a young Harry Potter discovered that he was a wizard, the spells and incantations that he encountered were, for lack of a better word, magical. Everything that he witnessed from the time that Hagrid came and got him from that island in the sea, it all just seemed so impressive. I mean, a half-giant who could put a pig's tail on his cruel bully of a cousin? Incredible. Especially for our poor boy Harry, who had suffered terribly at the terrorising hands of Dudley. And lest we forget the marvels that awaited him in Diagon Alley, or the simple fact that his Transfiguration Professor could transform into a cat and then back again. All of these displays of magic seemed quite amazing indeed, at least at the time. As the series went on, however, Harry discovered substantially more powerful magic. There were stones that could keep a person alive forever, which eventually was overshadowed by a wand that was essentially unbeatable. There were inexplicable portals into the afterlife hidden within the Ministry of Magic, and unforgivable curses that could kill a person on the spot. And yet, as Harry learned more and more about the most powerful magic, one thing became quite clear. The strongest magic was the oldest magic. Which leads us right to the question of today's video: is magic getting weaker? While there doesn't seem to be a definitive canonical answer to this question, it is my belief that yes, magic is indeed becoming weaker over time. Think about it. The most potent magic that Harry ever experienced during this series was that of ancient magic. More specifically, his mother's sacrificial love, a form of incredibly old magic, was able to defeat the killing curse of Avada Kedavra. It had effects that lasted the better part of 2 decades and was able to bring down Lord Voldemort, the darkest wizard of all time, not once but twice. Then there was a piece of magic like the Philosopher's Stone. This bit of sorcery was created by the famous alchemist Nicolas Flamel sometime in the 1300s. The stone produced what was known as the Elixir of Life, which could be used to achieve immortality. That is, as long as the elixir was consistently ingested. Flamel was able to extend both his life and that of his wife's for more than 600 years with the magic from the stone, before deciding to destroy it and die naturally. And as we well know, no one in modern history has ever been able to replicate Flamel's achievement, making this magical accomplishment an old one. Another excellent example of incredibly powerful magic that cannot be matched by current-day sorcery is the trifecta known as the Deathly Hallows. The Hallows were made up of 3 ancient magical items that included the Elder Wand, the Invisibility Cloak, and the Resurrection Stone. Together, these objects were said to make the owner the Master of Death. As legend has it, the 3 Deathly Hallows were created in the 1200s, changing hands over the centuries until they fell into the hands of Lord Voldemort and Harry Potter. We learned throughout the final book of the series that these 3 ancient magical objects were some of the most powerful items to have ever been created. This means that since the 13th century, no one has been able to manufacture a stronger wand than the Elder Wand. Not even the accomplished wand maker, Garrick Ollivander of Diagon Alley's famed wand shop. It also means that not a single witch or wizard has been able to create a more powerful form of invisibility, as the invisibility cloak that Harry came to possess was one of the only magical items in the whole world that could keep a person concealed from surveillance magic. Not to mention that the Resurrection Stone, similar to the power and rarity of the Philosopher's Stone, was the only magical rock known to exist that could bring a person's spirit back from the dead. So, with these examples in mind, it seems rather clear that magic within the wizarding world is indeed getting weaker. But why? Well, in my opinion, there may be a few reasons for this. Reason 1, the reliance on wands. As us muggles are to understand it, magic wasn't always performed using wands. In fact, there are still parts of the world that do not practice magic with the assistance of these magical instruments, many of which can be found in Africa. For example, we know that students who attend the African Wizarding School of Wagadu, located in western Uganda, study wandless magic. This bit of information can be found in the following excerpt from wizardingworld.com. The wand is a European invention, and while African witches and wizards have adopted it as a useful tool in the last century, many spells are cast simply by pointing the finger or through hand gestures. Since it's believed that wandless magic is a more difficult skill to master, As individuals who cast magic in this way do not have a conduit to easily direct their powers, it makes sense that those who have mastered it are likely more powerful than those who have not. There's also the wandless magic of goblins and elves to consider. Both of these brands of magic are viewed as superior in strength to human magic, once again pointing to wands as the reason that wizardskind's abilities are becoming weaker. Basically, if the majority of the global wizarding community is relying on wands, it makes complete sense that the magic they're able to wield isn't as strong as it once was, before the use of wands. Reason 2. Modern-day advancements. Similarly to witches and wizards' reliance on wands, there's also the possibility that other modern-day advancements have played a part in the deterioration of magic. For example, before the invention of the locomotive in 1804, students attending Hogwarts would have had to get to the school some other way. This would have been the case between the year it was founded in the 900s and the beginning of the 19th century. Practicing magical travel regularly would have likely kept this skill sharp. Now, this may not be the best example, seeing as how we know that modern-day witches and wizards continue to travel using magic by way of apparition, flue powder and such, but I'm sure you see my point. Presumably since the Industrial Revolution in the 1700s, advances in technology have provided many opportunities for magical individuals to put their wands away on occasions in which they once would have used magic. Continuing in this way for centuries, it's no wonder that the power of magic is dwindling. Reason 3. It's a resource that's being depleted. The final thought I'll leave you with today on why magic seems to be getting weaker and weaker is the idea that magic is nothing more than a resource. Think of it like some of the finite resources that us muggles use to power our lives, like coal and natural gas. If magic was a non-renewable resource, that means that there would only be so much of it in the world to be consumed. Over the centuries, as witches and wizards discovered more spells, invented potions, and simply used their abilities, the supply of magic within the world would have been constantly depleted. Even if you were to think of magic as a renewable resource, it would still be getting weaker over time because of the increasing magical population. For instance, a couple hundreds of years ago in the 19th century, there were 1 billion people on the planet. Now, in the 21st century, the global population is over 8 billion. This means that there are substantially more witches and wizards using magic today than there were centuries ago. So even if magic was a resource that could renew itself, the increase in people using it now compared to back then means that there would be less magic for each witch or wizard, resulting in weaker magic. This essentially means that the magic of today may be incredibly diluted on a per-person basis. So, with a few possible reasons as to why, it does indeed appear as though magic isn't as strong as it was centuries ago, at least in my opinion. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. What did you think? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And, as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live